Sofi Technologies is one of the fastest growing financial services companies in the world today. So in this video, I'm going to look at SoFi's growth prospects over the next 2 years and answer where I think SoFi stock could be 2 years from now by the end of 2025. Where will SoFi stock price be? So let's jump in, let's look at the details, and let's answer that question.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so to answer that question, we're going to need some numbers, some forecasts, and some estimates to use to make this prediction. Starting with the current stock price, SoFi is currently trading at $7.96 per share. We need to see what SoFi is trading at according to a price to sales ratio. And right now it's trading at a price to sales of 3.794, near the lower end of where it's traded at going back a couple of years. It's been higher, it's been lower. Right now it's near the lower end of that range. Keep in mind, SoFi stock is a volatile stock and it will continue to be so over the next couple of years. We also need the revenue estimate for 2025 if we want to make a stock price prediction for 2025. And according to the analysts on Wall Street that are following SoFi stock, they think SoFi will deliver revenue of 2.97 billion in 2025. That's the estimate from a collection of Wall Street analysts. Even though some may think it will be lower than that, some might forecast revenue will be higher than that, but this is the consensus among all of the analysts on Wall Street that are following SoFi stock. So now that we have several of the estimates, let's dig into the details and see what the price could be in 2025. Now, a few weeks ago, I answered where the stock price could be in 2024. I will link to that video at the end of this one if you want to watch that and see where the stock price could be by the end of 2024, according to my best estimate. But in this video, let's look at the 2025. So to answer that, what I have here on the left-hand side is the 951,183,000 shares outstanding SoFi stock currently has. Now, I expect SoFi to dilute shareholders even more over the next 2 years. SoFi is still in growth mode. They may make another acquisition or two. They have been very acquisitive over the last several years, and they are planning to be profitable on the bottom line in Q4, although that remains to be seen and if that is sustainable. So, all else being equal, I think it will dilute shareholders more over the next 2 years. But in this video, I'm going to assume that it stays the same. I'm going to assume shareholder dilution remains where it's at today. So this price estimate is going to be more optimistic than if I included my expectations for shareholder dilution. Just keep that in mind. All right. So then we have the 2.97 billion estimate for revenue for 2025. Remember, I got that number from here, the analyst consensus estimate, 2.97 billion. And if we take that revenue estimate divided by the diluted shares outstanding, we get a total sales per share of $3.12. So now let me draw your attention here to the valuation model. The $3.12 I got directly from this calculation here. And the price to sales ratio is what SoFi stock is currently trading at in the market, 3.794. I rounded this up to 3.8 for my valuation estimate. So if over the next 2 years, SoFi Technologies delivers revenue as expected of $3.12 and the valuation remains at 3.8, then the estimated stock price could be $11.86 by the end of 2025. Now, that would be a considerable increase from the $7.96 the stock price is currently trading at. But if you look at 2 years ago in 2022, SoFi stock price was near $16 per share, and in 2021 it was closer to $24 per share. So even if it would increase by that much in the next 2 years, it would still be well below SoFi's peak valuation levels. So it's totally realistic for that to happen, although it may not be my base case scenario. Let's continue with these scenarios. What if SoFi delivers profitability in the fourth quarter of 2023, as it has estimated it will do, and continues to deliver profitability for all of 2024 and increasing the earnings per share throughout the year? Well, in that case, analysts would be more optimistic about SoFi stock, and the valuation could increase to a price to sales of 5. And if it still hits that revenue target, then the stock price could rise to $15.60. That would be more than double where it's at now. And if it was even more optimistic, price to sales of 6, then the price could rise to $18.72. Although I think all of these upside scenarios of a price to sales of 5 or 6 are a lot less probable than a price to sales closer to 3, closer to 3.8. Now, in the most pessimistic scenario I have here, I have SoFi's price to sales falling to 1.3, and that could decrease the stock price to $4.06 2 years from now. Again, this is a case that I don't think is very realistic, although it is possible. I think it's less probable. So, my best estimate of where I think SoFi's stock price could be by the end of 2025 is somewhere between $10.25 per share to $10.75 per share, which would be an increase from the $7.96 per share it's at now. It would be a roughly 20% increase over the next 2 years, or in other words, a roughly 10% increase in each of the next 2 years for SoFi stock. Now, I will say, with that prediction, I will add that SoFi stock will be extremely volatile over the next 2 years. This will be a volatile stock, and investors should only approach SoFi stock if they're willing to experience those wide fluctuations. I will also say that the stock price could be meaningfully higher or meaningfully lower than what I'm estimating because of that volatility. The stock price could be much, much higher. It could also be much, much lower, depending on a number of factors, including the traction in increasing student loans, the traction in increasing home loans after it made that acquisition of the mortgage company, and where interest rates will be by the end of 2025. Now, the Federal Reserve has said that they will decrease interest rates at least 3 times, not at least, I should say 3 times in 2024. So if that downward trend in interest rates continue, I think that will be bullish for SoFi stock for a number of reasons. I will link to a video that explains why decreasing interest rates are good news for growth stocks. I'll link to that video at the end of this one. So with all that being said, I think SoFi stock price over the next 2 years is more likely to be higher than lower, and you have my estimate. But I'm curious to see what you think SoFi stock price will be by the end of 2 years. So put in the comment section below which scenario you think is most realistic, and I'd like to start up a discussion in the comment section between all of you investors that follow SoFi stock. Thank you for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. I know there's a lot you could be doing with your time and a lot of other videos you could be watching. So I truly appreciate that you chose to watch this one. If you want to see more videos just like this, hit the subscribe or the like button. They'll both help me make more videos just like this one. Thank you again.